Hello everyone, welcome to Animal Communication. It's Thursday evening again and I've got quite a few animals here that wanted to be spoken to, so I'm looking forward to communicating with your pets. And if you would like to have me communicate with your pets, all you can do is send me the information. Just read up, it's all written in the section about the video, so I just quickly need to turn off. So we're back on. Sorry for that. I just quickly had to turn off the notifications. Oh, hello, Mandy. Great to see you again. How did you go after the reading? I hope it gave you a bit of clarification with your beautiful girls and boys. Hello, Linda. It's beautiful to see everyone here. And yeah, as I said, I've got quite a few animals here that are waiting to be spoken to. So I'm really looking forward to connecting with them tonight. And we might as well get started. Hopefully the owners will be here, otherwise they can just watch it a bit later in a replay. So it was my pleasure, Amanda. It's great that yeah, it gives you a bit of clarification with your animals and knowing that you didn't do anything wrong. Hello, Annette, great to see you. Yes, so let's get started. Hello, Linda. Oh, fantastic. Great to see you, Linda. So you can see how it works. And then if you would like me to communicate with your animals, you can just send me a photo and a bit of information of your animal, like name, age, breed. But you don't have to give me any background information. And you can give me up to 3 questions that I can ask them during the session. Hello, Rhonda. Yes, if you want to be part of this as well, just send me a photo. And I'm happy to have a chat to your beautiful boy or girl. Okay, well, we better get started. There's quite a few that I have on the list today. Hopefully we can get through them. So we're starting today with beautiful Betty. I'll show you a photo that has been sent to me. So this is beautiful Betty. She is 3 years old. I'm not quite sure what breed she is, but that doesn't really matter so much. It's just important. It's good to know how old they are, and that's not for any background information. It's purely if they show me any pain, and I know that they, you know, if it's a cat and the cat is 20 years old, it's normal that they have pain. But if it's a 3-year-old cat and he shows me all this pain, you're thinking, well, really, for a 3-year-old cat, he shouldn't have that pain. So it just gives me a bit of an indication, you know, is that what we're expecting with an animal of that age, or should they be in a better state and not in so much pain? So that's really why I would like to know the age. So this here, as I said, this is Betty that we're talking to now. Betty is a 3-year-old girl, and the owners just wanted to have a little bit of general information, how she's feeling and what's going on in her life. So I did have a chat with her previously, but I'm also connecting with her now. And so, yeah, when I talk to her, she tells me that she is a girl that needs to be in the center of attention. She she knows what she wants. She's quite full on, as in she needs to be there, and she needs to be in the whole yeah, whatever is going on. She's also smooch, so she does love her affection, but she also tells me that when she doesn't get it her way, then she can be quite stroppy about it, and she can be a bit temperamental about it and say, but this is what I want. And then she can be quite funny about it. She tells me that her right knee on her back leg is a little bit sore, so probably worth having a look at. It didn't seem to be something dramatic, but she might have just strained it a little bit, so there was a little bit of pain there. She also tells me that she likes to get pampered, so she's a girl that needs to be spoiled, so she's probably a little bit of a princess. And as we do spoil our pets, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And she also tells me that she likes boys better, so she doesn't like girls as much as she does like boys. And she's also a very smart girl and very clever. So she tells me she picks up things really quickly. Whether she then does what you ask her to is another thing, because she does have a mind of her own. And but she does understand what you want. So it can be a bit of selective hearing at times that she shows you, but she's definitely a very clever girl. And she also tells me she does like playing, but she doesn't like silly games. So whatever that means, that's probably something that the owners can relate to. And she tells me that she likes playing in her own way. So again, I think if you're trying to do specific things with her, then she might be, oh, you know, I don't care what you're doing. I want to do it this way, and that is what I want to do. So she's quite specific in her ideas. And so I'll just show you again. This here is beautiful Betty that we're talking to at the moment, a 3-year-old girl that you can see that is at the beach at the moment. And she tells me that she is a good girl. And as I said before, she tells me that she's a girl that doesn't always listen. And so that seems to be more selective hearing than anything. So she just knows what she wants, and sometimes she just wants to get her way. But she's quite a happy girl in her surroundings, and it is important for her that she can be part of it and that she gets spoiled. And so she's definitely a little bit of a princess. So that was beautiful Betty. Our next boy that we have is this one here. If you can see him okay. This is a 14-year-old, I didn't write down what breed he was. I think he's a shepherd. Absolutely beautiful boy. Okay, so we have beautiful text here, and he tells me that he is a friendly boy and he has got a big heart. So he's an absolutely lovely boy, and he tells me that he's quite a calm boy, and he is also, what he tells me, a good watchdog. So he knows what his job is. And he comes across like a very uncomplicated dog. So he's not one that you have a lot of trouble with. He is quite relaxed in his surroundings and really quite easy to deal with. He's an Australian Shepherd mix, we can just see. I thought he was actually one of the like Bernese mountain dogs. He looks a bit like a Swiss breed, but yeah, absolutely gorgeous boy. So he's quite an adorable boy. Aussie Shepherd, yes. Thank you for letting me know. So yeah, he also tells me he's a sociable boy. And he tells me that he's a bit slower these days, but he also thinks that he's quite fit. And he also tells me that his hearing is still quite okay. And he's very excited to be in it and to talk. So he also tells me that he loves people. He's quite a social boy. And but he's not a pushy boy. He's not a pushy soul. You know, he's happy to just go along and be there. He knows his job. He knows what he's got to do. He's a good watchdog. But yeah, you can't really have a much easier boy. You know, he's absolutely wonderful to have. He tells me that he's a funny boy, and he also tells me that he's a born entertainer. Whether that has anything he's talking about, I don't know if he was a bit of an escape artist in his younger years, so there's something going on there. But he also tells me that he has calmed down a lot in the last few years. Hello, Natasha from the Outback. Fantastic to see you here. Great that you do have internet wherever you are. Yes, I do feel them. And as I said, it's been an absolute pleasure to talking to your boy. The other things he tells me that he's a happy boy. He's still very happy. And he also tells me to let him chase those sheep. So he does definitely seem to have the shepherd in him. And I don't get the feeling that he wants to do something with them, you know, that he wants to hurt them or anything, but he just knows what his job is. So Natasha, this reading here is for Tex. I haven't written down who the owners are because obviously they might want to, we want to keep that confidential, but that is the boy. He's an Australian Shepherd, I have been told. He's 14 years of age and he's absolutely beautiful. Yes, he certainly wants to be in the limelight. That's what he's telling me, that he needs to be in it. And again, he's a very content boy, and he also tells me that he's very good at nurturing and nursing. So I think he's a boy that picks up on your emotions. He's a boy that, you know, if someone's feeling sad or someone needs attention, then he's the one to be there. And he So he's just a fantastic, he's a healer, and he certainly brings across his good vibes, which is absolutely amazing and fantastic. So if you're sad and if you need some healing, then go and spend some time with Tex, because he will be the one that can support you in your times when you're not feeling too well, because he's such a laid back boy, and he feels everything that's going on. And but he is a boy that is he's very sensitive, but he's not one that takes it onto himself. He's still quite grounded, and he's more here to help you than a dog that gets upset by other people's emotions. Okay, and I said to him, is there anything else you want to tell me? And he said no, he said he's good. So even pain-wise for his age, he's feeling really good, and there's not much that you have to worry about. So he still loves what he is doing, and that's fantastic. So that was beautiful Tex that we just talked to. Okay, and then let's have a look who we have got next. Hello, Susie. Great to see you from Melbourne. So if you want to be part of this for next week, just send me a photo and a bit of information like age, breed, and sex of your animal, name, of course, and I'm happy to have a chat with your boy or girl during next week's session. Yes, it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Natasha. It's just so rewarding doing what I'm doing and being able to help people and their animals, because often there's misunderstandings, and if we can help them and solve those misunderstandings, I always say animals, they don't ask for a $10 million swimming pool. They want our time, they want our love. Maybe the food bowl is not right, they need a different food bowl, and so it's so easy to keep them happy and just solve the problems that we have with them. Okay, Michelle, you have a cat that is missing. Well, this here is a cat that is missing as well, if I remember right. So this here is beautiful Poppy, and Poppy ran away, and the owner obviously wants to know whether Poppy is still alive and if we can find her and what is going on with beautiful Poppy. Okay, so talking to Poppy and connecting with Poppy, she tells me that she's always been a bit of a wild child. So even though she's a very loving cat and she does have a lot of love in her and she loves cuddling and she loves attention, she also tells me that she's always been a cat that has been wandering, and that even though she loves where she is one that just needs to move on. And that really seems to be a bit of an issue with her, that she's not here anymore. And so she's a girl that is a bit unsettled, and I do get the feeling that that has something to do with her parents, with her mom. So it could have been that her mom was a street cat as well, and that she just has that in her blood. So just showing you beautiful Poppy again. She's the girl that we're talking to at the moment. And yeah, so she's telling me that she has got that from her mother, that she has a bit of a in her blood, that she just needs to move on, even though she's absolutely happy where she is. So it's got nothing to do with her not being content and not getting enough food or love or affection. It's just in her blood, like a German Shepherd is just a born watchdog. So she obviously had that in her blood from her mother, that she was one that needs to move around and move on. And she tells me that she's happy. She tells me she's happy doing that. And so she's saying, she's always had that habit. And she also tells me that she's not a very big girl. So she seems to be on the smaller side. And she also tells me that she's had a bit of a funny, or from how she has a bit of a funny way of walking, and it looks to me like she's walking a bit sideways. She clearly tells me that she's still here, so it feels like she's well. There's nothing wrong with her. And she also says that she has found a place now where she has settled down. So Poppy shows me that there is, it looks like a barn or a stable. And she also tells me that she never really was a house cat. So she seems to be a girl that just needs to be outside and she needs her space. She loves people, she loves cuddles, but she's also a girl that just needs to have a bit of time for herself and have a little bit distance, that if she wants to be on her own, that's what she can do. And she also tells me that she has so much love to give. So she seems to have been a really cuddly cat with you as well. And yes, and so she also says that you need to let her go. So there's not much that you can do. She is just that kind of cat. And as she said before, there was nothing that you did wrong, but she's just a girl that just needs to be on the move and that needs to move on. But she tells me that she's happy and she's good where she is at the moment, where she has a lot of space. So she's a girl that doesn't really want to be restricted too much. And as she said before, she's not really a house cat that just wants to be inside or in a house. She just needs that freedom, which she has from her mother. Okay, so that was beautiful Poppy. And the next one I have here is beautiful Maddie. If you can see her. Okay, so Maddie is a 14-year-old. She does look like she has a bit of, maybe a bit of, I can't think. Labrador. So whether she has a bit of Labrador in her. Absolutely beautiful girl, Maddie. And so she's 14 years of age. So she's also a bit of an older girl. And so the owners wanted to know from her whether she's okay living in another household and that she's not feeling any anger for them having to make that decision. And she tells me that she's a very happy girl. She's a very laid back and relaxed girl. And she says that she doesn't need a lot. She's not a complicated, here we go, Labrador Border Collie. So yeah, it wasn't too bad, I guess. She definitely looks like she's got the Labrador in her. Okay, so yes, so she tells me that she's a very happy girl. She's uncomplicated. She tells me that she does need exercise. So she's a girl that gets a bit bored, and whether she also had, when she was young, these tendencies that she wanted to go for a bit of a wander, just because she has a busy mind and she just needs to do things to settle down. And she tells me she's easygoing. She also tells me that she's a good watchdog. She also knows what her job is, but she also knows very well whether people that come to the house, they're good people or they're bad people. So if they're nice people and good people, she might not even react or get up, just because she knows it's not necessary, because the people that are coming, they're nice people. So she just always judges each situation as it comes. And she also tells me about forgiving that she had to go and live in a different household. She knows that it wasn't to any fault of her own. She also knows that the owners had no choice then to do that. So yes, she definitely is a good guard dog. She knows what she's doing. And so she knows she didn't do anything wrong, which is very important. But she also knows that you had no choice. So whether you were living in a house that you couldn't take her, and so she knows that you couldn't keep her. But she also is a bit confused why you're worried about it, because she says she's got a fantastic home, so there's nothing that you could do different or you should have to do different, because she's very happy where she is, which is great to know. So she tells me that she's got a good home. And she also tells me that where she is now, beautiful Maddie, that she whoever she's staying with, that they have quite a close bond. And it feels a bit like they've got a partnership. So it feels like there's maybe just one person and it's just her and that person. Yes, yeah, that's what I thought. So she knows that you didn't do anything wrong, or she didn't do anything wrong, and she's got a fantastic home, so there's really nothing to worry about. So yes, so it feels like she is with a person and it's a really close relationship they have, and they're absolutely getting on very well, and it's more of a partnership than just a dog and a human. So she's very happy, and if she was with you, you said there's a new baby, so she wouldn't get that attention that she has living with your mum. So she is perfectly happy. So you don't need to worry about her being unhappy or anything negative. What else did she have to say? She said that she does enjoy visiting though. So if you can visit her, or if she can visit you, that's fantastic for her. Yes, they do, don't they? They have a very close bond. She tells me she loves the trees and the forest. So I'm not sure if you take her to the forest or if there's trees where she is. And she said to take her on an adventure. So she's definitely a girl that wants to go and do things, and she's a girl that doesn't just want to hang around. So she's still quite active, and even though she might not be that fast anymore, it's still important for her that she can go and do things. You also wanted to know whether there's any animals from the past that she can see. And she's telling me that she was saying that she can see Sally. That is someone that hangs around her. So I'm not quite sure if that name means anything to you, whether there's a Sally that has passed away. And she also tells me that spirits don't scare her. So she's saying that they are around her all the time. And she tells me that they are just positive energy. So there's nothing to worry about. And she was talking again about exercising, saying that she can still go for walks, and for long walks even. And that is something that is very important for her. Oh, fantastic. Yes, she would definitely love to go on adventures with you. So do you know who Sally is? So I wasn't quite sure whether that was an animal or a human that she's saying that Sally hangs out around her and is still with her, which is great because she was saying, you know, it's all positive energy, so there's nothing to fear. So was Sally an animal she's talking about? Oh, there you go. Well, thank you very much for sharing that information with us. The other thing Maddie is telling me is that she loves nature, and she also said be who you really are. So it's very important that you're true to yourself, and that you can be who you are, that you don't have to hide anything, that you're true to your wishes and what is important and what you want in life. Okay, so that was beautiful Maddie that we talked to. So thank you very much, Maddie, for having a chat, and thank you very much for all the information we're getting from the owners. Okay, so next one we have on the list is this beautiful girl here. I hope you can see her okay. This is beautiful Honey. Honey is, I didn't write her breed down. She looks like she's a smaller girl. And so there's a couple of questions for Honey as well. So let's have a quick look, just the general information that she was giving me. And so Honey tells me that she's quite an active girl. She calls it that she does have a little bit of ADD. It was my pleasure connecting with beautiful Maddie. So yes, Honey tells me that she does have a little bit of ADD, so she's quite an active little girl. It comes across like she doesn't sit still for very long and that she's struggling to do that. And that's not because you're doing anything wrong or, you know, that there's anything. Yes, it's beautiful, isn't it? Beautiful Honey. So yeah, she's full of energy, and she's probably one that you just need to entertain a little bit and do things with to keep her calm, because she just can't sit still for very long. That's beautiful Honey. Okay, so yes, so she's a very active girl. She tells me that she needs exercise to be calm. And she's also quite needy. So she is one that does need a lot of attention. She also tells me that she does get sulky if she doesn't get her way. So, I mean, a lot of animals can be like that. So this one here, beautiful honey. And what else is she telling me? The owner wanted to know whether she's jealous of the baby. And it was interesting because she is needy and she needs to have attention. And it didn't come across like she's jealous of the baby, but she does need to be in the center of attention. So it's when the baby is around, it's not that she's like, I want to be in the center. That's fine when the baby is around. I don't get a feeling that she has any negative emotions with the baby, but she does need a lot of attention. So it's quite important when you walk past her that you can just acknowledge her. That's really often all it takes, you know. So if you walk past her and she's, you know, lying on her bed, don't just walk past and don't look at her. Just walk past and see her and say, hello, beautiful girl. What are you doing? How are you feeling? That's all you have to do, just to include her in this, in your life. So it's not really that she needs to be before the baby. She accepts that and that's okay, but she does need a lot of attention. And so she tells me that she's actually quite patient with the baby. So that is really great to hear, because we know that that can be a problem with babies. And if there's any, you know, if a baby comes in all of a sudden, because before they were in the center of attention and all of a sudden they are not. So it's quite good to know that she's okay with that. And she also tells me that you do give her enough attention, so it's not like she's missing out on anything, but she also tells me that she wants more. And again, that's not because you don't give her enough attention, it's purely because she wants more. Thank you very much, Michaela, for sending an email through, and hopefully we'll be able to chat to your beautiful boy or girl next week. Okay, what else have we got from beautiful Honey here? Adorable girl. So yeah, for her it's just really that whenever you have 5 minutes, that you can just spend 5 minutes with her, acknowledge her as you walk past, and that you can just that way include her in your everyday life. And she says if she's balanced, then she's happy. But because she does have a little bit of ADD, she probably needs a little bit more than a dog that is totally laid back. So, and because she's needy, she also has a tendency to make up things, you know, so she could make up that she's scared, or she could make up that she can't sleep well and things like that, just to make sure that she gets the attention that she wants to have. But yeah, she's an absolute beautiful girl. So thank you very much, Honey, for talking to me. That was beautiful, Honey. And then we have beautiful Bella next on the list. So this one here is beautiful Bella. She's a 2.5-year-old girl. I'm not quite sure about her breed. Maybe the owner can let us know. But she's an absolute gorgeous girl. So thank you very much, Bella, for joining us on the show today. So Bella tells me that she's a very cool girl. She tells me that she's quite submissive, but not because you made her that way, but that's just in her nature. So she's not a leader as such. She prefers to follow, because leading involves with a lot of, you know, you need to be in control, you need to make decisions, and Bella doesn't really want to do that. So Bella just wants to be a girl that just can chill out and just follows you with whatever you want to do. That is absolutely fine with her. So Sharon, if you want to get a reading done, you can get the information from, it's just included in this video. You can just email me the photo with a bit of information, and then we can hopefully chat with your beautiful boy or girl in the next session. Okay, so beautiful Bella here. She tells me that she is a funny girl, and she comes across quite uncomplicated and just full of energy and light and just beautiful. You know, there's nothing negative about her. She's just an absolute gorgeous girl. And she has a non-fuss attitude. So she seems to be quite an easygoing girl, which is fantastic. And she also tells me that she fell in the water when she was little. So whether that is something the owners know or that happened before she came to them, not quite sure. But yes, so she has gone for a bit of a swim at some stage, she's telling me. And I don't get the feeling that she's scared of water. She might be a little bit hesitant, or that she was a bit hesitant at some stage, which is only natural, I guess, if you have fallen into the water. So she's only 2.5, but she tells me that she's quite a mature girl. So she doesn't come across like a silly, young puppy dog, but she's quite mature. She knows what she's doing, and she fits in well in everyday life. She also tells me that she likes to go with you and just be part of whatever you're doing. So she's, again, not fussed, whether you're at home or whether you take her somewhere. And she's very patient. So you can even take her somewhere in the car and she will just wait for you. That's perfectly fine. And she also tells me that she likes to look beautiful. So it was quite interesting, because she tells me that she likes to be beautiful, but she also is talking about brushing, that she's not too fond of it. But it still seems to be something that she accepts, and that is okay for her, because if that's what you want to do, that's fine with her. So she's just happy to go along with whatever you want to do with her. And she tells me that she does have a bit of a sensitive stomach, so that's something good to keep an eye out. She tells me, though, that she does love her food, and she tells me to give her more. So I don't think that you're feeding her enough, but that it is actually just about her loving her food. So, even if you feed her enough, she will always say, give me more food, just because that's her attitude and because she loves her food. If you want to get a full reading done, Susie, it's $90, and you can give me up to 10 questions. And so you get a lot of general information as well as the answers to your 10 questions. Okay, so again, she tells me that she's an uncomplicated girl, and she just really seems to be fitting in wherever and whatever you want to do with her, which is fantastic. Yes, Sharon, we can communicate with animals that have passed away, and we can also communicate with animals that are with us. So it doesn't matter either way. So if you have animals that have passed away, you can ask them as well the 10 questions, which can be, what happened, how are you feeling, just anything that you want to know. And it's often good to know, especially with animals that have passed away, that people are upset and, they're wondering, have I done the right thing? Should I have put them to sleep earlier, or should I not have put them to sleep? And if we can get answers to that, it just makes us feel a lot better. Okay, so that was beautiful Bella. And then we have beautiful Charlotte. So Charlotte is a 5-year-old ragdoll. And absolute beautiful girl. I think she does have dark eyes, but absolutely beautiful coloring that she has got. Okay, so having a chat to beautiful Charlotte, she tells me that she's a very spoiled girl, and she tells me that she can sleep wherever she wants to sleep. So she seems to have a lot of freedom in the house, and she also tells me that you roll the red carpet out for her. So I think whatever her wish is what she wants is what she gets from you. So that is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful that you're spoiling your girl, and that's okay. And because that's how we have a good partnership with our animals. If we respect them and we treat them the same that we treat, that we want to be treated, we treat them on the same level, because we are no better than them. We're on the same level as them. So if we can respect them on the same level, we have an absolute content animal. And it doesn't mean that they're running amok and they're out of control. It means that they respect you as well, because it's important for you as well to have them happy. So that's great to know. Okay, so Charlotte tells me that she is a bit of a princess. And she also tells me that she's needy. She's a girl that loves to be near you, and she loves to be on top of you. And she tells me that she's not happy if she wants to be near you or on you, and that you then haven't got time for her and that you want to put her aside. So she tells me that's not acceptable for her. And she also tells me that you can do anything with her. She tells me that you can carry her around, you can cuddle her, and she absolutely loves it. So she tells me that she lets it all happen. But you were also saying that you do have another cat called Harry, and Charlotte tells me that she tells Harry off. So they seem to be quite close, her and Harry, but more of a brother-sister relationship. So she's not, you know, they do have their, not really arguments, but it's not an absolute deep love they have. It comes across like Charlotte is probably more in love with you, and Harry is a brother for her. So she likes to tell him off, and she likes to tell him what's happening. So it comes across like she wants to be a bit the boss in the house. She also tells me that she's very well cared for, and she also tells me that she is waiting for you every day. So she seems to know when you're coming home, and she gets quite impatient when you are coming home. So she's probably waiting at the door for you. And she also tells me that she loves to climb. So not sure if you've got like a cat tree or something like that at home, because for her it would be nice if she's got the option to sleep up high somewhere. And she shows me something, you know, a bit of a like a bowl shape. So I think that's a bit something that the cat trees have. So she seems to be very comfortable when it's a bit like a hammock sort of style. So and yeah, she likes to be up high. And she tells me she's not really a girl that wants to be on the floor. And so yeah, climbing is a thing that she does like to do. She also tells me that she's very attentive, and she picks up your moods. And she also tells me that she cuddles you back. So she's definitely a very attentive girl, and she can pick up your moods, and she knows exactly what's going on with you. She said again that she waits patiently for you, and she's okay with being on her own. So when you go to work, that's fine with her. She says she's got Harry. They don't seem to be that close, but it's nice to have him there. But yeah, she's happy to just have a sleep and wait for you until you get back. So there's no issues with her being alone. And she also tells me that her and Harry are quite different. So she tells me that they have different things they like, and they're quite different in their characters as well. So that's probably why they're not quite as close as they could be, but there's no issues at all. It's just that he likes different things to her, and that's fine for them. But it's still nice that they have each other. And she also tells me that she is a bit sensitive to pain. So when she hurts herself a bit, that she just feels it a bit more. And that probably comes across as well because she is a little bit of a princess. So when she hurts herself, she's like, Mom, you know, I'm hurting. I need you to make me feel better. And she also tells me that she doesn't like when her food is cold. So just make sure that when you take it out of the fridge, that you just let it heat up a little bit before you feed, because she just says that it doesn't smell so nice when it is cold. But apart from that, she tells me that she feels well and that she's a happy girl. So that's good to know. Okay, so this was beautiful Charlotte. Okay, and then we have one more that we would like to connect to. This one here is Jimmy. And Jimmy is missing as well, unfortunately. As far as I know, he's a foster cat that has disappeared. Okay, so Jimmy tells me that he's a very clever boy. He also tells me that he's a boy that doesn't waste his energy. So he wouldn't do silly things just to waste his energy. So he seems to be quite planned, and he knows what he needs to do. He knows what he is doing. And he also tells me that he purrs loudly, and he is an attention seeker. He also tells me that he is an independent boy. So he likes both. He's obviously very affectionate, but he also enjoys it when he can have his freedom and he can just do what he wants to do. He tells me that he's a straightforward cat, so he doesn't come across like a princess, or that he's making up things. You do really, what you see is what you get with him. And he still says again that he does love the attention, but he also says that he's a curious boy and that he likes to go and explore things. Asking him what happened and where he is, he shows me a building site. It looks like whether there's a new house being built. And he tells me that he likes to go into things. So if there's an open car or an open cupboard, he seems to be one of them that likes to go in there to have a sleep there and explore it. So that is probably also something that happened when he disappeared, because as I said before, he shows me a building site. So I do get the feeling that he went somewhere, there was a bit of a building site, and that there is something open that he got into. And even whether it could have been a car, he'd been into something, and that he then has been taken away, and that people found him later, but they didn't actually realize where he came from, because he just got himself into a car or a box, where he then just couldn't get out in time and then disappeared with someone. And I don't get the feeling that he's microchipped, so he might not it might not have been able to trace him, because he just didn't have a microchip, and so therefore the owners couldn't be found. And it feels like he got refound by someone, because they found him, as I said, in a car or in a box or in a toolbox. And he just keeps talking about a building site. So if I'm not sure how long ago it was that he went missing, but have a look around and see if there's a building site in your area, and go and have a chat to them and see whether they know anything about the cat that has appeared in someone's car or in someone's toolbox even. And he is quite appreciative, and he also tells me that he's not arrogant as such, but he does have respect for himself and he loves himself. So he is aware that he is important for himself, and which is good. So he is quite a confident boy. And he also tells me not to worry about him. He tells me he's fine. So it looks like he is in a loving place, and that he's with someone. So I don't get the feeling from him that he's been run over or that there's any emergency situation. But do keep your eyes open for any building site and have a chat to the people in that area and see what you can find out. Okay, we do have another boy here that I'd like to have a quick chat to, and unfortunately the owners haven't told me his name. So this boy here has disappeared as well. So unfortunately that is always a thing with missing animals, and talking to animals that have been missing, it's always great to chat to them and find out where have they gone, what happened. And it can be tricky sometimes to get the information. They can tell us what they can see, but sometimes it doesn't make sense. And I had a lot of situations where once we found the animals, all the things they told us made exactly sense and perfect sense, but at the time it looks a little bit different maybe, or it's not quite that clear. But it is very helpful to have a chat to them and find out which direction they went, why they ran away. And so yeah, this boy here has gone missing as well. So unfortunately, I don't know his name, but I did have a quick chat with him. And he tells me that he has disappeared under quite mysterious circumstances. And he said that no one was home when he disappeared. So it feels like it wasn't anyone's fault. And he also tells me that he was found by someone. he tells me that he's a bit of a special needs boy. So he seems to be a bit more complex. And he also tells me that he's not an everybody's dog. So I think the owners knew him very well and knew all his needs, but yeah, he's not a dog that everyone would go, oh yeah, I have him, he's very uncomplicated, because he seems to be a bit complex and not tricky, but you know, he's not an easy and laid back dog. So he fitted very well in his family, he tells me. But yeah, not being at home and outside, he could be a little bit difficult. And so that is probably why he's saying that he's not everybody's dog. So he tells me that he's not quite that confident. And he also says that he does have special needs. And he also tells me that he gets scared with noises. And so he seems to be a little bit anxious. And he tells me that he gets a bit restless when he gets nervous. And he tells me again when he went missing that no one was home. And he also talks about the direction. And he tells me that when you go out the house, that he went to the right. And he's talking about going sort of down the road to the right. Even though it feels like town, excuse me, just getting my notes. It feels like town or the city center or town center was more to the left, but he seems to have gone to the right. And he also tells me he doesn't know which direction he went, as in he just left, and he didn't really worry too much where he was going, or he didn't really think clearly what he was doing. And he tells me again that he was not an everybody's dog, that he was a little bit complicated and difficult. And he also tells me that he had two sides of him. So there was one side that was quite calm and loving, but there was this other side where he was just anxious and unsettled, and he worried about things. And so asking him what happened, he tells me that he got picked up. So someone has taken him. And it doesn't feel like it feels like someone picked him up with a car. So it was not like someone took him and walked him home. It was that people took him into the car and took him with them. The owners obviously wanted to know as well how he is feeling, if he's still with us. He tells me that he tries to be a brave boy. He tells me that his life has changed a lot for him. And so there has been a change in circumstances. There has been a change in his family. And it seems like the people he's with now, they do not understand him quite as much as the previous owners did. But he also tells me that they don't want to give up on him, which is good news, because we don't really want animals to end up in animal shelters. It would probably be good if they take him to the vet to have him, to check whether he does have a microchip. But yeah, I do feel that he's still around. And that's the boy here. So yeah, sorry, I don't really know what breed he is, and I don't know his name. But yeah, so it comes across like he did get scared and he just left, and because he was scared, he didn't really think where he was going, and he wasn't quite aware which direction he went, but he did eventually get picked up by someone. And it seems like he's still with those people that picked him up. And as I said before, they don't seem to have that great understanding of him that you had, but he still feels that he's happy and that he's well cared for. So hopefully they will take him somewhere where they can, taking him to a vet, so they do find his microchip, so he can hopefully one day be reunited with you. Okay, so that's pretty much the animals that we had a chat to today. So as you can see, yes, he's a poor boy, Amanda. So as you can see, we can have a chat to animals that are missing. We can talk to animals that have passed away. We can talk to animals that are with us. And you can ask them any questions that you have. So it doesn't matter if it's health related, physical, mentally, and also about performance, competition. A lot of people have horses and they stuck with their horses. There's issues because they don't do certain things, or they do certain things that we don't want them to do. So it's fantastic if we can have a chat to them, find out why do they do things, and then we can work on eliminating that. And that is often the problem, because a behaviorist, sometimes their behavior doesn't actually reflect what's going on inside them. If they don't drink the water, we think they are sick or there's something wrong with them. And it could be as simple as them not liking the water bowl because it gives the water a funny taste. So sometimes all we have to do is change the water bowl and they're happy again. So all you have to do is then just change the water bowl, happy animal, and all the problems are solved. And same with lameness. Sometimes the vet looks at an animal and they can't find out where the lameness is. I was talking to a horse that was running around on 3 legs. And when we talked to the horse, we found out that the pain was actually in the other leg. And when he put that leg down, it was causing pain to the muscles, and the vets and everyone was looking to the left leg, but the problem was actually the right leg. And the owners were at that point where they were going to retire the horse because they just couldn't find out what was wrong with it, and it was standing in the paddock on 3 legs. So once we had a chat to the horse, we found out what the problem was. The physio came in and worked on that area, and 3 weeks later the horse was back in work. So it doesn't replace the vet, it doesn't replace any treatment, but it does certainly help to find out what the problem is, that we can eliminate it and make them healthy, happy again, and which means that we have an easier and better life, and the animals have definitely an easier and better life as well. So thank you very much for watching today. If you would like to have a session with your animal, send me an email. Just write in the subject that it is for the live session for next Thursday. Give me the name of the animal, sex, breed, let me know how old it is, and send me a clear photo and 3 questions. If you want to give me a bit of information, that is okay, but you don't have to. And let me know if the animal is still with you, or if it has passed away, or if it is living with someone else. And then hopefully I'll have time in the next session to have a chat to your beautiful animal. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching today, and I'm looking forward to connecting with your animals next time and having a chat to you next Thursday evening. Thank you very much. Bye.